Okay, you guys, I hope you came up with some great stuff on what you would get rid of in my kitchen. I'd like to show you what I actually got rid of in my kitchen. I was surprised, as you may be, by looking at some of this stuff, and it was such an eye-opener. And quickly we can go through some of why I got rid of these items. The cereals were very interesting for me. They were the most difficult decisions to make. The reason being is many of these cereals are actually okay. These three to the left actually didn't have much fiber, is why I got rid of them, but they were really low in sugar. So it's kind of like choosing your evils, like we talk about. And for me, I would prefer cereals with higher fiber. But again, these were okay, but I got rid of them anyway. These two had higher sugars. This Frosted Mini Wheats actually had quite a bit of sugar, but it had quite a bit of fiber. So I kind of went back and forth on that one. And of course, we don't need to say anything about these, right? We all know about these little guys. Loaded with sugar and all kinds of unhealthy colorings. Pop-Tarts, I'm sure a lot of this doesn't surprise you. The Pop-Tarts, of course, so bad, and my daughters love them. They are really high in sugar, and they have a lot of unhealthy ingredients. I also got rid of all of my granola bars. And the reason I got rid of all of them is I bought ingredients to make my own granola bars, which includes really no refined sugars. So all of these granola bars have refined sugars, and a lot of them are really high in sugar, unnecessary sugar. So I just cleaned them out, and I'm going to start over with my own homemade granola bars with homemade products. Now the cocoa colored almonds, covered almonds, I tend to overeat. They're not hugely bad for you, but if you can eat just 4 or 5, you let me know, because I can't. And it doesn't make sense to have them in my cupboards. Actually all of the energy bars, they're just so processed. There's no reason to have them, and I know it's really difficult with children to figure out an alternative. That is the challenge of everyday living for moms. This Pirate's Booty, I went back and forth on, but the reason I got rid of it is there's absolutely no fiber. So if you can find something, if you need to do packaged foods that has fiber, this doesn't have much sugar, has actually 0 sugar. If you can find something with low sugar and a little bit of fiber, you're probably a little better off. The sesame snacks I got rid of again because they have refined sugar in them, and you can make something without the refined sugar with a different sweetener such as honey or unsweetened coconut or whatever. And speaking of unsweetened coconut, I didn't show you this the first video, but I had an entire package of sweetened coconut in my cupboard. No reason to have it. There's wonderful tasting unsweetened coconut in the grocery stores. I got rid of all of my sodas, and there were quite a few sodas. I was disappointed and surprised in that for the obvious reasons of there's 30-some teaspoons, I believe, in 1 can of soda. There is no reason that anybody should have soda in their cupboards or their refrigerators. Gatorades, I got rid of all of them. There's no reason to have them. They're unhealthy. They're acidic. Vita Water Zeros, they are loaded with fake sugars. And so your body reacts to them just as they would the regular sodas or regular refined sugar, but it's a fake sugar. I got rid of the chocolate milk. I got rid of the pink lemonade. All of the fruit snacks, which is probably the biggest challenge for me as a mother. The kids like fruit snacks, and I did come up with some healthy alternatives, and I'll show you that in a minute. Barbecue sauces. I had 3. 3 barbecue sauces. They are loaded with sugar. If you can figure out a way to make your own barbecue sauce with less sugar, that would be the best route to go. Chicken McNuggets. Chicken, you could basically make your own. You can get real chicken. These are little parts of different chickens all added together. You could make your own with whole chicken breast or whole chicken thigh and bread them yourself, and they would be much healthier. These crackers had 0% fiber, so I took them out. They weren't full of sugar, but they had no fiber, which is actually why I took out these crackers. The cookies, obviously, we don't want that. The bagels have no fiber. They're extremely processed and refined. And the same goes for the flour tortillas. No fiber, extremely processed and refined. The kids' juices, they're loaded with sugar. It's unnecessary sugar. The kids' bodies can't process them well. The same with the fruit squeeze. This fruit squeeze loaded with sugar. I did get rid of all of my this was difficult. All of my ice cream toppings, with the exception of one. I don't know if any of you remember what the fourth one is. I'll show you in just a moment. So this is, oh, the soups. Let's talk about the soups. They are so high in sodium. Not to mention they're in a can. If you can make your own soup, you really should. And you know, it's so deceiving how it says healthy choice on there, while the calories are low and actually the protein is high as well. They're so high in sodium. I think about 400 milligrams per serving, and there's 2 servings in one can. So there's no reason to eat that. The Jellos and all these yogurts down here, excuse me, pudding and a Jello and the yogurts are very high in sugar, and there are alternatives to this. And the pizza, obviously, I won't even go into why I shouldn't have that. These popsicles are fairly high in sugar. They're probably middle of the road, but there actually are popsicles out there that have a lower amount of sugar per serving that you can get, all fruit popsicles. And then the pot pie is so loaded with fat, it's ridiculous. So there you go, gang. There is my kitchen. So now on here, I wanted to show you, of course, my fruit bowl has been replenished, and that looks more like what a healthy fruit bowl should look like. We have lots of fruits, and we also have avocados, which are loaded in the unsaturated fats that we need. And I have some potatoes as well. These ingredients here on the counter reflect, I'm going to make the chia seed energy snack as a replacement for my daughters and myself for a granola type snack, or just a quick fix snack. And these ingredients over here actually, I'm going to make a homemade granola bar, as I mentioned earlier. And one of the things I looked for when I was looking for the granola is I compared every granola in the store that had a label and found the granola with the lowest amount of sugar grams per serving. And that's how I picked that one. And here, basically, I just wanted to discuss breads with you. This bread was actually fine that was in my refrigerator. It has at least 3 grams of fiber per serving, which is what you should always look for in a loaf of bread, is 3 grams of fiber per serving. And also you should look for the first ingredient being whole wheat flour or stone ground wheat or stone ground wheat flour. This is really the only gourmet, my children love bread. This is really the only gourmet bread I could find that had 3% fiber. And so I got that at Albertsons. These are these 2 lentils and legumes that I'm actually going to try to sprout for the first time ever. And we will have a class coming up on that. And I also bought some black beans, and I'm going to attempt to soak them and cook them on my own instead of always doing canned for the first time. So that'll be interesting to see what I come up with. Here we have flaxseed, which is whole. I grind my flaxseed fresh every time I use it. And I actually had this, I've always had this flaxseed, but I do grind it fresh every time I use it, or I'll throw it into, say, the chia seed energy snack or the granola bars as well. It's a great source of omega-3s, and it's the good fats, and it's high in fiber and protein, so you have lots going on there. Quinoa. I'm very excited to try cooking with quinoa. It's high in protein, and it's an excellent source of energy, and it has fiber as well. And I have my olive oil sitting right out there so I don't ever miss it when I'm preparing food. So now, checking out the cupboard with what I do have, as you can see, I got rid of all the cake mixes, chicken broth, low sodium chicken broth. This was really the only cake mix that I feel was adequate, and the reason why is that it has 0 grams of sugar, and the ingredients are, there's a small amount of ingredients, and they're very simple ingredients, so that's why I chose that. I also have a big bottle of canola oil. A lot of recipes nowadays seem to call for canola oil more than anything else. Regular almonds. As far as a sweet snack for the kids, I kept the fruit rope and the fruit leather. There's no added sugars, it's just natural sugars. That was just fine. Some dried apples with no added sugar. The problem with dried fruit is almost all of it has added sugar. So if you can find a dried fruit that your kids love that doesn't have added sugar, you're ahead of the game. This dried fruit actually does not have added sugar, so I hung on to it. And I got some raw. Raw is always the best way to go if you can. So this is a raw trail mix. And just to tell you how to compare, if you go and get the trail mix with the peanuts and the M&Ms, and I will overeat that. It's really high in sugar and it's really not great for you. It's processed, it's all cooked in oils. This is raw and it's basically as good as it gets. So that's in there, and I won't overeat that. Brown rice crackers, you can never get enough of those. I have those in there. Believe it or not, the light out of all the Wassa crackers, when I went to Winco, the light rye had the most fiber out of all of them. So I grabbed some of those. The Triscuits, the thin crisps, are actually great. They're high in, fiber. They're the only way they're really different from the brown rice is if you're not doing wheat, you'd stick with the brown rice, and they're a little higher in fiber than the brown rice. The rice cakes I did hold on to. They're not bad. There are rice cakes that are whole brown rice cakes that are a little bit better, but again, my kids love them, so I hung on to them. And as far as the popcorn, I did get rid of all the popcorn, and I will replace my cupboard with just the kernels of popcorn and cook it on the stovetop from now on. Popcorn is loaded, microwave popcorn is loaded with unnecessary ingredients, hydrogenated oils, and whatnot, so I just got rid of them. Refrigerator. So I am so excited about this refrigerator. Woohoo! As you can see, it's loaded up with good stuff. I got the Minute Maid low-calorie orange juice, which I put in my green smoothies. I alternate between the almond, unsweetened milk, and the orange juices, depending on my mood. Tomato juice, it's such a great staple. I drink it all the time. It's low on the glycemic index, so it doesn't affect, it'll get your blood sugar stabilized really fast, but it won't spike it. It doesn't have that much sugar in it. So the yogurt, I got rid of the vanilla, actually, because it has quite a bit more sugar than the plain low-fat yogurt. And both my daughters and I actually really enjoy it, and I put that in my green smoothies as well. I did get some other yogurts for the girls. It is a little higher in sugar than I want, but again, it's about choosing your evils for me. And there were some yogurts that were way higher in sugar, so I kind of found one that I could live with and the girls could live with. The juices are huge these days, and I did find a juice that is really low in sugar. Actually, it's only 10 grams, which was the lowest one I could find. And I also got these organic mashups, which have 10 grams of sugar per pouch, but it was the least amount of sugar I could find in something like this. I kept the fruit, I got my meat and vegetables, I got rid of the refined flour tortilla shells and instead got a blend of corn and whole wheat shells that actually look wonderful. They have 3 grams of fiber and they look fantastic. And I got just a beautiful array of produce. I'm so excited about using all of this. I got some blueberries, there's some grapes underneath, there's some parsley and cilantro. I'm very excited to cook those up in some quinoa recipes. And as you can see, just everything pretty much in the flop. The ketchups, quickly want to tell you that regular ketchup has in the past been made with corn syrups and very high in sugar. Both of these ketchups are actually good, so I kept them both. The mustard, definitely kept. The almond butter I would have preferred to buy at the store, but it's really expensive right now, so I stuck with the all-natural peanut butter that has absolutely no sugar added, which is very important. There's such a difference in the flavor. So the fudge sauce I kept was the extra dark chocolate fudge sauce. It's my evil. Here you go. It does have some fiber in it. That's why I kept it. And it's lower in sugar than any of the others. And that's, and of course, a lot of eggs. Eggs are loaded with protein. They're a great source of protein. So the freezer, basically I got rid of almost everything. I did add some frozen blueberries with my frozen strawberries. And I do have fresh blueberries, as you recall, in the refrigerator. I eat a lot of blueberries. In my shakes, in my smoothies, in my yogurt. I kept the Italian chicken sausage. They're pretty low in fat for it being a sausage, and they're pretty clean. So I held on to those. And then I actually, my other little evil is Greek frozen yogurt. It's kind of high in sugar, but it is high in protein, and every once in a while you just need that snack. And I did hang on to the sprouted corn tortillas, and I'm very excited to try those. There you go, gang. I hope you learned something from this. I sure did. Thank you.